Welcome to the BXG Podcast, the podcast where pop culture and nerd culture meet.
You think it's just going to be barbecue sauce?
Because if you actually read those books, it's just gobbledygook.
I really think clothes should be mandatory.
Speaking of Star Wars,
Captain America.
trailer reaction video. Creed 3, starring Michael B. Jordan in the titular role as Adonis Creed, Tessa Thompson, Bianca Creed, Damian Anderson is played by Jonathan Majors. That is the primary antagonist. And then Wood Harris, Tony Little Duke Burton, who is Adonis's trainer. I think that everybody kind of knows the plot of this. If you've seen a trailer or a commercial, you have
If you exist.
Back in the day, Adonis and Damien get in trouble. Damien was his golden gloves, whatever. And he took the fall, whatever, goes to placement, goes to jail, did 18 years in jail, comes back, wants a shot at the title. And then they end up fighting. So again, we'll do spoiler free. This is the Amazon Prime review of Creed 3, starring Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan.
Not Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Yeah, not him.
No. So like the first, whatever, I guess like 50 minutes movie, I don't care. They try to like put a plot in. I don't give a shit. I'm just like, let's get to the boxing, kids. And they have the boxing round where Jonathan Majors' character beats up Adonis Creed's like kid they're training.
Yeah.
Just beats the shit out of him. I can't think of the kid's name. It doesn't even matter.
Felix Chavez.
Yeah. Beats the shit out of him. Like, whatever. And, like, Creed's mad because you beat the shit out of him. And I'm like, okay. And I, like, literally, like, because I'm watching with Janie. And Janie's only seen Rocky, the original Rocky, and then the first two Creed. She has not explored all the other Rocky movies like I have, which I love. I love them. I love most of them, actually. Because either they actually are good or they're just so insane that they are also good.
Mm-hmm.
So this leaned into it's insane, and then it becomes good because of that. So the storyline plots up that. It's 50 minutes of, preamble, essentially. And then we get what we want. We get exactly what we want. We get Creed being pissed. I got to train. I got to get back in the ring. I'm broken. We see that he's broken. He's got a broken back. He's got a broken, like, whatever. He's broken. He's a broken man. And he gets back at it. And there's a 10-minute training sequence, which is incredible. And then there's boxing for the last, 25 minutes, too. That's all I need. Honestly, that's all I need in these movies. Give me training sequence. Give me that. And give me some people throwing punches at each other that would never actually happen in a real boxing match. That's what I want. And I don't care about the first 50 minutes. I honestly couldn't even tell you what would happen in the first 50 minutes. I don't care about Tessa Thompson's character. I don't care about Felicia Rashad dying. Sorry about the spoiler already. Don't care. None of that matters. That's all just there off to the side. Yeah. Just hit me with the boxing, hit me with the training sequence. That's all I want. And so for me, it gave me that. It just took a little bit longer than I wanted for that, but that's what you want from the movies. If they want to keep making them, I would say skip more of the plot. Give me more of people hitting each other. So, anyhow, Bretton.
What was the runtime on this?
2 hours. I think it was like 2 hours exact.
Yeah. I didn't like this movie at all.
Okay.
Not even a little bit. I thought it was the worst Rocky movie since Rocky V, which is widely considered the worst, I would say.
I don't disagree with you on that at all, Brendan. I'm just saying that when you want stuff, that's what I want.
Yeah, you had texted me and said this is for you, And then when I was watching it, I was like, this is for not me. And
Not the first 50 minutes. The last.
none of it was
You
for
didn't
me.
even like. You didn't even
No,
like.
no, I thought
okay.
I hated the cinematography where the final. I'm just do spoilers. Yeah. I hated the cinematography. I hated the cinematography of the final fight where it's like they're fighting in their room at the group home. They're there's like the mattress thing and then the kid. Yeah. I hated that.
I also
because it took away from, like, say what you want about those Rocky movies. The end was a boxing match, and the first two of these were. And I think that what was missing? What was the missing ingredient here?
Sylvester
Stallone, right? And the first of these movies is like
awesome,
revered. Sylvester Stallone got nominated for an Oscar for it.
Probably should have won. Honestly,
probably should have won. And it was written and directed by Ryan Coogler, who Black Panther, say what you will. I mean, this one, he had a writing credit, but Michael B. Jordan, this was his directorial debut. And I just thought that they got a little bit too cute with it. And I think that, these movies, it's like you said, even when you're watching a Rocky movie, like, okay, there's the whole relationship angle with Adrian. Nobody's coming for that. No. Nobody's coming to Rocky to see Rocky and Adrian's like marital struggles between like mega fights. You're coming for Rocky versus Apollo. You're coming for Rocky versus Clubber Lang. You're coming for Rocky versus Drago. And I felt like they really, I will say the Creed movies overall have been more plot focused, and the plot of the first film I thought was really good. And then the second one was like low hanging fruit with the Drago thing.
Yeah.
And then this one was like, okay, we're trying to tell this like heartfelt story, or this story of like, you can't run for your past and making amends and all these different things. And they tied in some of the old Rocky tropes. Like you said, his mother passes away, and it's like, okay, well, that's like corollary to Mickey, or, a corollary to Apollo even. And these distant or disparate parts. And it's like, I wanted at the end for it to be like a brawl. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing. That's the other thing about Rocky movies is they're not an accurate representation of boxing, even a little bit.
Well, they made a video game of it, which was just insane. Like, that was the thing too, like back in the day. So this is what I'll say. I'm not like I'm going to give this high score. I thought the movie would be like Creed boxes. Why can't I ever think of his name? The guy he ended up boxing. Why cannot
Damien.
His name?
Damien.
Yeah. Dame time.
Right.
I thought
Diamond Dame.
I thought that he would box him in the beginning,
lose,
and then the middle part of the movie is I have to get back in the ring.
Yeah. So basically Rocky 3.
Right. What? Because this is Creed 3.
Right.
So I thought it was going to be Rocky 3, which I love Rocky 3. I love Rocky 3. One of my favorite of those kind of movies. So I thought it was going to be that. So I was like disengaged 15 minutes in. I was like, and then I had the train sequence which pulled me back in. I love a training sequence. You give me a train sequence, anything. But I agree with you, Brent. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's probably Michael B. Jordan trying to like outthink himself. It's his directorial debut and things like that. And like I said, I'm not giving this high score. I'm just glad that they at least tried at the end, because the first half of this movie is not really watchable. I just don't care. There's nothing. The movie's way better if you just make it Rocky 3. Boxes, loses, trains, wins. Nobody's mad about that. Like, that's the thing. Like, don't try to outthink the room. The Rocky movies kept happening because people like them, because you root for people. And so, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not here writing movies or anything, but there is actually a system to these kind of movies that works. And this one didn't follow it as much as I liked the sequence of training, or I liked like they got the boxing. It's like I had no connection to like Creed's guy. I didn't care. Go ahead and get the shit beat out of you. I don't care.
Right,
like
yeah.
I didn't. Yeah,
Well,
like
that whole thing,
he could have died and be like, I don't care.
that whole angle of he pays someone, and again, this is huge spoilers, so whatever. The movie's been in theaters. If you really want to, turn it off and watch it. It's on Amazon. The whole storyline that Dame pays one of his prison buddies to break Drago's arm or fuck Drago's hand up or whatever, and then this guy who's still got a house arrest monitor is just going to get a shot at the world heavyweight championship.
He's getting a shot at it.
Was so impossibly preposterous. And they were leaning on, well, Rocky got a shot at Apollo. It's like, yeah, but Rocky had a career up to that point, a bad career. He got his ass kicked all the time, but it was still like a career. You know what I mean? And they specifically, they find this guy and they're like, in Rocky, the first one, they're like, who would be a good opponent that's like, it's an underdog story. It's a black versus white thing, rags to riches. Like, I'm Apollo, I'm the champ, and just some scrub that we can hype up. They even talk about it like we need to hype him up, the Great White Hope or whatever. And because Rocky is originally based on, I forget the guy's name, but it's based on a guy that fought Ali. Like that was like, it was loosely based on a real thing. And that made, it probably didn't make, like, it doesn't make sense, but it was maybe a little bit more believable in the moment because it was like, oh, this guy, because this is the other thing too, is like fighters do this all the time. I mean, who's the last guy Fury fought? He was a guy that he'd already kicked his ass twice. It was a tune-up, it was a tune-up. It was a stay in shape fight. And like fighters do that, but fighters don't face guys who are their sparring partner that have been in prison for 20 years and still have a house arrest monitor on their ankle.
No, it doesn't happen that often.
That was so unbelievably preposterous to me that I was like, okay, well, and then I was leaning on you telling me like, oh, well, the second half, the training and the fight's good. And then I was just like, nah, I thought the last fight sucked. I just did not like it. I did not like it. And I want, like, the Rocky and Apollo Creed fights are ridiculous. They're like wrestling matches. Like, no boxers pin people on the ribs with their arms and just start wailing on them. Like nobody. There's no defensive. Like technically, the boxing in the Creed movies is a lot better, but it's also like not as entertaining because I just want mayhem. And I don't know. I like you said, the different characters, I felt like they left stuff in the air with his whole daughter situation. And like she's getting in fights at school because she's getting picked on. It's like, okay, well, so I'm gonna teach you how to fight, but then we're just gonna kind of leave that hanging as a loose thread. Even the end where like, he oh, if you need anything, you sucker punched me on the beach and like fucked my guy up, but blamed me for abandoning you when it was really my mom's fault. But it's cool. If you ever need anything, let me know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to score this high. I'm just trying to point out the things that were just like, is what it is. My score is like a 5.5. I give
it a 6.
Oh, okay. Wow. Even better. Okay. Because I was just like, I mean, that first 50 minutes sucked. Like, I felt bad That's one
It's
of those
hard-
movies where I felt bad that Jamie was watching with me because like I would have just rather just like suffered through it alone and be like, all right. So
I think that we've said this, like we give scores and it's like we have to have a reference point. And I don't really like giving scores. I think it's reductive. And it's
sure,
you know,
it is. I agree.
it's so subjective. And the other thing is like, did anyone act poorly? No. You know, were there like awful CG special effects? Not really. This was serviceable. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Is it Citizen Kane? No. It's not, you know, the original Rocky was nominated for Best Picture.
Right. Right.
You know, and I forget what it was up against. That year was stacked.
That was a good year.
Um
Yeah, no, I think it's one of those things that like sometimes like don't try to change a good
Wiki.
solution. Like that's the thing. Like this is Creed 3. Follow, like I said, like just follow the Rocky 3 thing. No one would have been mad if this is what I said. He fights Dame, he loses, comes back, he fights Dame again, he wins. Like no one would have cared. And like let's say in the first match he gets shit beat out.
It won.
Yeah.
Rocky won Best Picture and Best Director and Best
Did it really
Editing.
win Best Picture?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't win Best Picture. Huh. I mean, it's a good movie.
Yeah. And
Good movie. Oh, Stallone didn't win like Best Actor or something.
I don't, was he even nominated? Hold on. Let me go back.
Or wasn't he?
Yeah, he was
like
he was nominated.
Yeah.
Talia Shire, Best Supporting Actor.
It's a great movie.
Burgess Marathon and Burt Young were both.
Hell yeah.
Stallone wrote it. He was nominated for Best Original
Yeah.
Screenplay. Yeah, it was huge. It was a huge, you know, huge movie.
It kind of changed the tide on like sports movies. So like you can make a good one and like it can be relevant and inspiring. So
it was the same year as All the President's Men, Bound for Glory, Network, and Taxi Driver.
Wow, those are all very good movies.
Yeah. And then none of the sequels were nominated for anything, I don't think.
They're different movies, the sequels.
Yeah.